Okay, it's called to order the Community Redevelopment Agent hearing for September 8, 2016. Roll call.
Yes, sir. Chairman Dale Masad.
Here.
Vice Chair Terrence Rowe.
Here.
Member Nancy Britton.
Here.
Member Jenny Sorrell.
Here.
Member William Dittmer.
Here.
City Attorney Jim Matthew.
Here.
And City Manager Vince Lupo.
Here.
Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion to approve.
18?
Second?
I don't think any of us were here, so the two that were, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Announcements, any staff announcements? Resolution number 1613, CRA budget.
Want me to do it?
Matthew, you want to read that?
Sure. This is the Resolution 16-13, a resolution by the CRA Board of the City of Port Richey, Florida, setting the Community Redevelopment Agency CRA budget for the fiscal year commencing October 1st, 2016 through September 30th, 2017. Looking for a motion to approve.
Motion to approve resolution number 1613, CRA budget.
Second.
Okay. You guys mind if I just look over this a second?
Do you mind if I make a couple of statements, just in
Please.
generality,
Please.
make it easier? This is the same budget, obviously, we reviewed at the workshop. You can amend the budget at any time during the year, just like you can the regular city budget. The highlights is, I think, the fact that you'll see information technology, police department, fire department, they're all in categories there, being paid for out of the CRA fund. And I guess the only thing that's probably different than in the past is if you look, let's see what the number is for contingencies. What's the number? 90? 90 being 90 what?
No?
No, the dollar number, sorry.
Yeah, I'm looking for it, yeah.
It's on the last page, $358,620.
Yeah, where is that on the last page? Oh, there it is, right, 990, okay, I got it. On the last page of the, which is the second last page before the signature page,
Page 13.
yes, 13 and 14, you have that? Where it says contingencies, okay? That's a fancy way of saying something comes up you want to spend it on. Bottom line is, that's how much money that's not allocated already, that's there to be spent in CRA. Contingent upon whatever the council wants, the CRA wants to spend it upon.
Money that the council can actually spend for redevelopment.
Yes.
On page one, Jim,
Sure.
I see fund carryover was 241, the revenues were 1173,809, is that correct? Page 105. Sorry, item one, page 7 of 14.
7 of 14, okay, the revenue. Go ahead, what's the question there?
Well, we have a fund carryover of 241 and a revenue of, I assume that's the revenue from the county, 1173.
No, and correct me if I'm wrong, Aaron. The revenue from the county is the $857,332,000. We show the Restore Act proceeds there of $75,000. No, nothing. Yes, it's the Restore Act proceeds. We have the fund carryover, sir, of the 241, so it's not just floating out there anymore. And so the amount that we have, that we funded is $1,173,809. But the short answer to your question is, how much is coming in from the CRA is $857,332.
Right, so that's about a 30% drop in what we normally get, eh? And that would be because of the population shrinking.
It's a drop from what it was years ago, if that's your point. It's the drop.
Yeah,
You could see the numbers looking back in the last 4 years to the left. So, the year before, current budget, it was 775. Okay, that's what we budgeted for, because you never know exactly. And now we're budgeting 857. The year before was 708, 683, 699. So it's been going up, but years ago it was higher. That's your point.
Yeah, I remember those, good old days. Okay, what do we have after this?
That's it, you have to approve it.
Did we We get, oh, the motion's on the table, I believe.
You motion,
Motion to
For a
approve.
vote.
Oh.
you motion approved, didn't you, Nancy?
And second.
Motion and second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that was, that is it, isn't it?
Motion to adjourn.
We'll,
That's a wrap.
Nancy, are you gonna go to Mr. Pavlik's,
I'm gonna try.
I will be there.
Is this?
I'm thinking I'll be there.
would you mind just RSVPing for all of us?
If you just let me know who I need to RSVP.
Everybody here? That'll serve us.
Who's accepting the RSVP? Who I need to talk to?
What?
Who do I need to respond to for you?
It's the phone number's on the bottom.
It's right here.
That, it's in this,
I'll
gave-
just
I
do
gave
it.
her a copy.
Tammy, I'll do it.
here you go, pass that.
I have it, I just need a copy of
I
it.
gave it to her.
All right, I think that would be nice for us to go. and if
You probably need this for your calendar.
No, I expect somebody to tell me. All right.
When you're
Any
supposed to
other
be there.
thoughts or comments? I think, we are moving in the right direction. I understand that we're not giving the departments as much as we once did, but, you know, that, the pendulum always swings too far and then it's back and then it'll be back then before you're gone probably. Few years more. I look forward to growing this city, and I feel like we're doing that. I really do. I think we're molding this city. And, there was something in here that the Restore Act, and we might as well think about this. The $75,000 carryover, that was for engineering, I believe, of the ill-thought-of plans of putting, ramps into the park. At some point, this council's gonna have to deal with a very tender subject, and that is, are we gonna make people follow the law down in the WOD, or are we gonna change it? And, you know, for now, I think Mr. Lupo could, answer what his thoughts are, and I think I agree with what they're gonna be. You don't change the law after, you don't allow them to break the law and then come in and change it. So we just have to need a little gentle way, and I believe Mr. Lupo's contemplating, well, I'll let you talk to that.
There are quite a few issues with respect to our waterfront and how it has been operating in past years. There has been a certain laissez-faire attitude which goes contrary to all of the previous meetings of this community, all of the previous laws, rules, and regulations passed. You are currently at a slight disadvantage because of lack of and consistency in a building department and a chief building official. That, as you are aware, will end on October 1st with Mr. James Washington coming on board. I've sent you his credentials. He will come on board. We will have a series of meetings with Mr. Washington. We will apprise him of the existing situation, past situations, and allow him to look through it, and then we will come back with some approaches so that council will be totally involved in the decisions that we're going to make. This is a city that has laws, and we will follow those laws, and it will be a fair, balanced, and level playing field for every individual, every business in our community. We have new developments coming in. They are going to have to adhere to our rules and regulations. We have Whiskey Joe's coming in, which is a whole new venue at the waterfront. They will have to adhere to all of our rules and regulations, as will everyone else in the waterfront. What's fair for one is fair for another. A level playing, balanced, legal playing field. There are certain permits that have already been issued. That whole permitting process is one steeped in history from the 90s. I know because I was there when we instituted it. The permit process at that time was a means, and it was a very simple affair. It was a means for any resident who was going to have a special party, a birthday, an anniversary, some kind of event at his or her house, and they knew that they didn't have adequate parking. So they simply would pick up the phone, call the city manager and say, Mr. City Manager, we're going to have a special party on such and such a day, and there may be some additional cars parked in the right of way. Is that all right? And councils certainly give them that latitude. I then notified the police department that, look, Mrs. Jones is having a party on such and such a street, such and such an address. Please be aware that those extra cars will be parked there. Please make sure that they are out of harm's way, that they don't obstruct traffic. But they were there. Please do not ticket them, because our rules simply state that there is no parking on our streets or on public right-of-way, nor on private property without the permission of that property owner. So I granted the permits, and that's what the permit was. It had nothing to do with noise ordinance. It had with decibel levels. It had none of those connotations that are currently involved. So we will get with the chief building official. We will review our rules and regulations. We will try and promulgate them. If we see deficiencies and areas that must be changed, we come back to council. We advise council of what our best recommendation is, and allow, of course, council to make up their minds as to what is best for this community. And that's the general direction we're going to go in. We are going to create, right across the board, through the entire city, a level playing field where we welcome new residents, where we welcome new businesses, where we encourage new businesses, and we try and provide everyone with aid and assistance to the best of our ability to become a happy, prosperous resident and or business in our community. That's the basic philosophy that I have, and that's the basic direction I intend to move the community in with your assistance.
Okay. A few other things, maybe to the attorney. We know there's a business that's holding events, advertising in his event center without a business license or the parking to hold the people. What is your direction for us? I don't want to pull this thing automatically. There's some events coming up. I think we should be easy-handed, but after these next couple of events, do we not need somebody that at least gets a business license? And can the city participate and make maintenance money, like if we were to sell the hot dogs and the hamburgers and the beer from the city vendor part, and then the flow over after the event to go to all of the businesses? Is that a doable thing, or am I making up new laws?
Not exactly sure I understand the question concerning.
Question around, do we not need something or someone to get a business license to run an event?
The business license to run an event, technically, no. That's a different issue. You have many issues here. You're going to run a business in the city, you need a business license. I happen to agree with Mr. Lupo, and just so you understand, I think we have 4 or 5 major site plans have been filed in the last few weeks, 2 weeks. The 4 or 5 major construction plans are being filed in furtherance of that. We've got a building official, who we have now that's temporary, working 24/7 just about to process these. We have substantial building fees and substantial impact fees coming in, so we don't want to make a mistake. So we won't have our building official until October 1st, and he's going to be jumping in. We're probably going to keep the other one for a couple of weeks to
Yes.
overlap. Mr. Lupo and I have discussed it. With regard to any decisions concerning any specific business here in the city, the appropriate procedure is to go to the building official for an analysis of what transpired in the past, and until they have rendered a decision, it'd be inappropriate for me to start commenting in a vacuum about questions about specific businesses and licenses and stuff like that. As far as the city taking over something in events, I'm not sure I understand the specific
Well, could-
question.
If a business wanted to have an event, could the city take the vendors inside the park and after the event would spill over into the businesses, or is that?
I'm not sure I understand the question yet.
Well, when we had events in the old days, Cosmo and the police, and I think, Tim, did you guys help, sell hot dogs and hamburgers? And things? Yeah, we did that in the past, and that came, I guess it went to the city maintenance of the park, which is, you know. and-
Is your question,
No.
can the city hold events?
Whether the city holds it or not, can we be vendors where the money goes to maintenance of the park?
I'd have to run that by the community trust to see if they're allowed to do it. I don't doubt you've done it in the past, but for the use of, you're referring to Waterfront Park?
Yeah.
I'd have to see if the Florida Communities Trust would allow that. That'd be the only issue.
Okay, I think they don't mind as long as it goes to park maintenance.
Well, that would be a decision for the council. They want to do those kind of things. I mean, Mr. Lupo is well aware how to do
I'm just
it.
bringing these up for future thoughts. Another thing we have a problem with down there, and we all know that, is parking. And, I have looked at everything. There are only 2 parcels that aren't the Colokitases. One is the 2 single-family homes there, and they're very nice people. I haven't ever met them. I've been here for 20 years. They're just always very nice, well-kept houses. I don't think they would want to move. The other would be there's about a 6/10 acre piece at the end of Catches. It looks like it's part of Catches, but it's not. That's another a place for parking garage. Mr. Lupo's great at getting grants, but I don't know if, neither are for sale. Mr. Colakitas has his properties, almost, well, one Tom O'Neill got me a $108,000, an appraisal to buy that part, that piece. It's appraised at 108, he wants $1,050,000. So I'm not bringing that to you guys so you're gonna laugh at me. I actually think he would take $750,000, still something I want you all to look at, think about. We can't grow that area without parking. And which brings me to the 5 acres that was, a trailer park that is directly north of Hess, Old Post and US 19. And, I mean, my preference would be to buy it for the city to buy it. I don't know if that's possible. We would have to, leverage the CRA fund out several years, or maybe 100,000 a year, whatever it is. I don't know how it works, and, that's for Mr. Lupo.
It would,
Cripple us?
if I might, Mayor, the issues that you're referring to are really part and parcel of the overall development, the waterfront development plan, and the direction that the community wants to move in. With reference to a parking garage and the acquisition of that property, there is that ability, provided that that is the direction council would like to go in, of bonding and using funds for acquisition. That is a possibility. Excuse me. That is a possibility, but we would have to sit down with Mr. Matthew and go over all of the specific details. But the city always has the right to go out for specific actions as far as acquisition is concerned. That parcel is free and clear of residences, so governmental action for acquisition doesn't include or would not include a relocation assistance, but it would be a competitive process depending upon who owns the property, whether it's in default, not in default. There are quite a few other legal issues, but that is a possibility. And with reference to a garage, a parking facility, that also is a possibility depending upon what you intend to do with the downtown area, how you intend, the downtown area, the waterfront area, how you intend to grow it, move it, and what kind of playing fields you're going to evolve into. Remember, you have Whiskey Joe's coming in, and that is a major operation. They're going to be looking forward to specific kinds of growth down there, which the city will have to talk about in the future. But there are many of these activities that you refer to are possible depending upon the specifics of your desires. For instance, the Florida Trusts has certain boundaries, as Mr. Matthew began to outline what we can do and what we can't do. The waterfront park, in my opinion, has slipped into a terrible disarray and needs a serious helping hand. You have funds to begin that process. Also, I would try and obtaining, we're looking diligently for specific grants to come and work in that area. We just received the $100,000 FERDAP grant. We're attempting to apply for another grant. So there are many other options that will be coming to you council, to actually get directions, because these are decisions that are heavy decisions. They involve business on one end and they involve residents on the other. And it's that mix between business and residents that this city council is going to have to come to grips with and make serious decisions for the future of the community.
Okay, I'm gonna, Docs is getting me the dreaming. I've talked to two people that are willing to buy this property. In a public-private thing, Jim, and I'm gonna stress your brain, or we may even have to have some specialty real estate attorney. They will buy that property. If the Restore Act is gonna be a real problem, because I don't think we are anywhere near ready to do what they want us to do, and which is two boat ramps into the park and make a parking lot in the park. We get a dredge for Shrimpers Canal and Gildog's Channel, if you will. Those we of course want. Any of the dredging is perfect. Now, if we were to get those dredges done, even if the city had to dredge it, and we could control the 5 acres, that would save us, and this is in my dollars but guided by engineers, that would save us about $750,000, because all of Miller's Bayous, all the canals, it is perfect. You go unload at the end of that channel into the trucks and you drive it across the street, and we'll have to build the DMA site there. We'll have to get a permit to change it. But to take it where we're supposed to take it will shut our barge down to a 20 yard barge with a pusher on it, which changes the whole game, because we should be doing 40. So we doing double runs to the DMMA site if we were to leave it there, and halving the amount that we can take. So the engineers told me this just won't work to get it over to the place where Alex's is, and that's our current DMMA site. So I think we should try to do anything we can to get control or get partnership control of that 5 acres. And in my mind, we can put some parking there, maybe a little parking garage, a 3-story Marriott or whatever. The business people keep saying destination, destination. Where are they gonna sleep? We don't have a hotel, to my knowledge, in this city. So if you had a class hotel that could look out over the bayou and the river, that makes a destination. And we also get, as opposed to all the taxes they think we get money from, we get bed taxes, we get tourist taxes, and is there any other things I'm missing, Jim, with the hotels?
I don't think we get tourist taxes, do we? We don't get
No?
tourist taxes, no, that's a.
Bed
county- that's a
taxes?
county gets those.
It's county gets it.
Bed and tourists?
That is
Yes.
tourist taxes, the bed tax.
Oh, the bed tax is the tourist tax. Don't smile at me, I'm not a
I'm
lawyer.
like, I appreciate you looking
Oh,
for
we're
money, I'm
honored.
trying to help you here.
Okay.
It's not a lot of money.
So the taxes we get out of that would just be a huge amount of taxes for a hotel like
Oh,
that.
sure, you would,
So,
yes.
Okay.
Just a quick comment, we have, there's a lot of national parks that have beautiful hotels. And people go in groves to get there. And why would it not be an idea to talk to, the park system and see whether or not Boris Warner Park could have a hotel there, and we could maybe work with them there?
I think that's a good idea. Nancy, the only thought I had was to have a hotel where they go downstairs, they walk to Guild Dogs or Hooters, or they go down to go fishing, and they're they don't even have to have a car.
But they could do that from Brasher Park, at the other, that's where you go into the park, into Boyce Warner Park, or Warner Bros. Park, or whatever it's called. I don't even know the name.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of how, if the business community, the BBA, wants it as a destination, that seems to me like if I wanted to go to a place where I could fish and kayak and swim and enjoy restaurants and bars, it would be nice to just go downstairs and walk over to them. So that's just my thoughts, and wanted to kind of bring these to you, and maybe get a nod for Mr. Lupo to look into the acquisitions with the people that I have talked to, and see what kind of arrangement would be the best for us if this council wants it.
I most certainly will be getting with the chief building official. We'll be going over our current zoning, our current waterfront master plan. We'll be going over all of those issues with the chief building official. And I'll certainly bring up, as part of that discussion, the ideas that have been presented here. It is obvious that this community is looking to grow in a very specific and orderly manner, and your waterfront plan is the base for that. And as long as we stay within that general framework, your developments can be clear to any individual who would like to come in and build something, a business, a hotel, or whatever. But we'll certainly look into these issues and try and bring some of them back to council during a workshop that we would set up. You'd have, I most certainly would request your guidance on any of these major issues, because they indeed are major issues. And most of them revolve around our own laws and the ability to utilize a limited amount of space for the most benefit for the community. And that's the things that we'll be looking at.
Again, in my dream world, I don't know what's possible, but I think the gentleman on my left and right will tell me. And Mr. Mariano thinks that it's possible to, for them, whoever buys it, even if we're not the buyers, they can turn it over to us in some legal fashion. Oh, they can turn? They can turn it over to us in some legal fashion and have it bought back. Then we use it for fill, which, helps us about $750,000, helps them about $500,000. Because they need to fill that property if they want to put Starbucks, parking, hotels, whatever. I think there can be a deal struck, and I just wanted to kind of, since I can't talk to you for some unknown reason besides sunshine, I have to get this done here. Those 5 acres, I understand it's 3 acres kind of the minimum for a hotel. And so it's possible that we could get a parking garage on it more toward the 19 area. So it's for the eyeball down in the waterfront district, you'll just see this hotel I've got in my mind. And they would, if you wanted to take a vacation, stay a week one place, I think this would be a great place. As it develops, they could have some out parcels. I keep saying Starbucks or a deli or a old Italian guy at an upper end restaurant playing unamplified music. I think that 5 acres is critical to get. And so you can think about it and tell me that I'm wrong if you will. Just going to keep going here for a while. I talked to Mr. Mariano the other day. I am not convinced that we've been told different things by the county. Maybe Nancy knows more than I do about it. And I know Terry does. We've been told we could take that money and go and just dredge. And I want that in writing from Mr. Chamberlain, because my sense is that they want us to put those 2 parks in, and they want us to make a parking lot out of Waterfront Park, and I do not think that this citizenry wants that, and I think it's a terrible plan, and I think it will go way over $1 million, and we will have to do a major modification to the FCT, which requires every plant, bug, grass be identified by the marine biologist. It requires attorneys to do strikeouts and underlines. It requires engineers to tell us how to build 2 ramps on a shoal, and then we send it to them. I don't know what it costs. I'm going to say it's more like $100,000 to do the modification plan. I've asked the engineer to ballpark that for me. If we do that and it comes out, you can do it, then do we want to do it is the question. And I don't think our residents want it, but I think the county residents that come down here want it. So you've just lost half of your park if you do that. And I know how Terry feels, I think. So the question becomes, do we pull this permit, pull this Restore Act thing and reapply with something that we think the resident have a, community sit down? What do you want there? How would you like to do it? What would you want to apply for the Restore Act? Mr. Matthews and I went after we smelled this Restore Act and asked Mr. Chamberlain, could we have just applied for all the dredging in the city? And he said, yeah. But I'm stunned. When I read those emails, I'm stunned. Every day, Walter Lewis, Eric Zorgen, and Tom O'Neill, every day, you want to meet? We got to make sure these easements line up, and where are you going to do this? And when and Eric's asking several times, where is that meeting? And when we get talked to, well, we advertised it. Well, where did they have? I never saw it. Nobody in the city that I know of saw it. Nobody in the city. I get these emails that I've read that I requested. There's probably 50 to 75 people, and nobody in the city is one of them. Jocelyn, well, you're not in the city, but Jocelyn, Tom, and a group of people I don't even know. So we did not have input to that Restore Act, and I think personally I would pull it. Mr. Mariano said if we're going to pull it, he would probably pull Wes um, grant or act and redo his. Now, 8 months ago, I told Mr. Chamberlain, let's pull it and redo it. He said, well, it'll take 45 days, it'll throw us off. Well, 8 months later, 45 days looks real good. And so that's another thing, just put in your brain. Last thing, I'll quit. Waterfront Park Grant, Ms. Joss. We have 4 25s, is that how it gets put out? 2 50s, okay. I looked, and if you guys get a chance, the, down in Tarpon Springs between Lowe's and the Sponge Docks, I don't know what the name of the road is, there is a beautiful splash pad, and they have a large dog and small dog fenced in place and little showers and things where they can run in and out. And that appears to be the most used things by dog owners. We would, of course, have it smaller. We're a smaller city. And the splash pads, it's gorgeous, but I don't think we could afford it. But we need to think of what we're gonna do with these 50s and 100s. I would love to put the waterfront pier back for the kids to fish that aren't fortunate enough to live on the water. And another brilliant idea I had was putt-putt golf course wouldn't cost much. So those are decisions we're gonna make soon. And if you get a chance, go down to the Tarpon place. I thought it was really neat. I think people would respond well to that. We need something for the kids, and we need a pier that we took down for no reason. I'm done.
Are you abandoning the Weber Lane boat ramp thing that you wanted to do?
I
Over in
talked
front
to
of
the
the fire
engineer. We're gonna have to see if it's wide enough. And I think, he does not think it is currently. I'm sorry? It's
feet
tight.
wide. I went and measured it.
What does it measure, Nancy?
6 feet wide.
How many?
6.
6 and a half, 7 feet, something like that. I went down there and looked.
Width?
At the end of the, over by where the,
Yeah, right at the
old-
very end, at the culvert.
Yes.
But as it gets out to that date,
There's nowhere to turn. You can't even turn. You can.
well, you wanna hear my magical? The only way I could figure to do it, and I don't think we can do it, would be the boats that are launched would have to have a launch that was angled, if you will, toward the channel that way. So when they come in, they pull on and they pull out. The ones that are going out would have to launch this way, so when they get off their boat, they're going that way. Yeah, it would be very tight, and I don't see it happening.
Thank God.
Well, that's personal, but, you know, it is what it is. You know, we have to find some trailer parking. I don't know where that's gonna be. But I'm not abandoning it, I'm just saying the preliminary, the engineer doesn't think is wide enough. Now, we went back to the original dredge, maybe it was 10 foot wider, I don't know. But he's looking into that. Would be a perfect thing if we could get it done, and certainly the businesses over there would like it. You know, you got Craig Scott's got a marina boat repair, and Nancy, why does Jerry not launch from there?
He's got his own launch.
Huh?
Yes, it's on,
Just for his boats, wouldn't launch?
Well, you know, that's an opportunity maybe to talk to Jerry and say, hey, Jerry, you know, what about the city buying you out? And then you don't affect any residential property there.
Okay, well, even if we didn't buy him out, if he has a place to launch, and, all we're trying to find is a place to launch these boats that accommodate the citizens outside the city mostly, and, you know,
I don't know, he has a rental, I don't think, I just personally don't, I know him, and I don't think he would go for that, I don't think he would, no, he's got his own business there, and he's been there a long time.
That's all I want.
And I don't see that he would do anything, now he's, you know, does he have interest in selling it, I don't know.
Well, that'd be
Jerry,
enough.
you wouldn't be affecting any
I
residential.
don't think it's big enough to launch, to store a lot of boats, is it, Jim?
It's not real big.
Yeah.
It's got like 30 boats.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Yeah.
it would probably store 20 with about 30 boats, yeah.
Well,
Probably not much bigger than Nick's Park, right?
yeah,
Probably
so that's 18.
Yeah, it's about 30. Yeah.
We need probably 60 boat storage on a launch, and 60 boats, I think is, Donnie fills up probably 40, 50 boats, and we have 18, so 60 boats, and it pretty well stays full. That's, it's too bad we couldn't buy right across from Nick's and use that as the whole city's thing, but it just didn't happen.
Mr. Mayor, you have outlined about 2 years' worth of work.
My mind goes faster than the government.
Some of you, for sure. Some of it is doable. Some of it may be doable, and some of it probably can never be accomplished. But they certainly are issues that I will go back. Tammy will provide me with the minutes, and I'll go back and look at this meeting, and I'll try and glean out some specifics. I'll get with Mr. Matthew, and we'll try and come back at some future date to council with some of these issues. One of the most pressing issues that was brought, of course, will be ongoing, and that is with the new building official and the waterfront issues. And then next, and almost immediately after that, is the Restore Act, and what choices you have, what directions you choose to go in. And all of that is backed up behind what has just occurred, which is the Hurricane Hermine and the aftermath of it. The county has outlined a minimum of $89 million in damages. I'm sure that this community will outline several millions of dollars in damage. We're preparing the damage assessment plan. We will be with FEMA on Sunday morning. We will be going to some, this is just the housing component of FEMA. We'll be going to some properties, taking a look at, so we can begin to add, they can begin to add on their side the level of disaster that has affected our community. And that, again, is just the housing component. We have mailed out 1,250 notices to citizens and businesses outlining the potential for assistance, and telephone numbers. They can call us directly, and a website where they can report the damages, so we can continue to build this damage assessment, continue to assist our residents and our businesses. There is also a special line for businesses, separate grant for businesses who have been impacted to obtain grants. And that impact is beyond just water damage, loss of business. I'm certain that all of our restaurants have lost quite a bit of business over those last 3-4 days, particularly because they're on a weekend. Yeah, the holiday weekend. So there are grants out there. We are looking at them. We are trying to make our citizens and our businesses aware of them, and we'll be addressing that. And I'll be back, and I've tried to send some individual emails to each of council with respect to where we're going. And we are in the process of completing that damage assessment report. And once it's done, we'll present it to council along with our recommendations to apply for specific grants. That's the direction we'll be going in.
Okay. So the council, I think, as Mr. Lupo said, the most pressing issue is what we're gonna do with this Restore Act money. Do you wanna pull it? Do you wanna look through it? I would hope you'd look through it. It really provides for, one, a dredge through Shrimpers Channel, which actually helps the whole community. The second dredge is the Gill Dogs Channel. Then we close 2 launches and we open 2 launches. And I just see that as a net zero. I don't know why that would even come up. And we make a park in there. That's another, they basically told us no. But if you want to make a major modification proposal, you can. That was what Mr. O'Neill just kept pumping. Well, they said it was doable, they said it was doable. The girl that said it was doable was gone by the time we retired, or we applied. I think it's a waste of money to do a modification. That is your call, but look through the Restore Act. So, and do you all have the emails from Misty Penton? Are we allowed to send something to them that's just an email for Sunshine?
You can provide information in email, sure. Is that what
Okay.
your question is?
Yeah.
It already are.
I don't want to do anything wrong.
You're talking about emails.
Like emails that I or Terry have gotten from the FCT to us. If
You
I
you
send
can
it to
provide them to the city manager for distribution. That would be my suggestion.
Okay.
That make sense?
What is that?
Yes,
As
it
long as you
does.
don't start a conversation, so.
Right, yes,
You
it
can
does.
provide anything you want to Mr. Lupo, would be my suggestion, and say, please spread this to all the other council members. That's fine, as long as you're not asking Mr. Lupo to go back and forth with conversation. But if you want to
Okay.
provide information, that's always fine.
And I'm stretching this out, but have you thought about preparing, you guys have all done I haven't done my up-to-date CRA, whatever my, continuing sunshine education, but I'd love to have you give us one that would be meaningful.
You haven't done yours?
No? But I can turn on the computer,
I guess the answer is, I don't
I need to go.
I don't know whether you have to be certified to do that, and I really don't know.
you know?
There's a course online. He's running out of time.
You can do it online.
I know, you turn on the thing, at the end you go, I listen to it. But
Yeah,
I
there's
kinda
no-
would like something,
It's
some meat.
very good, the one that's online is excellent.
It is, it's just time
You
consuming.
can break it up into small. December.
What I do?
I believe it's December 15th.
Well, by the 14th, I gotta start on it. Do you know what can you email me that?
I'll email you the link.
Okay, that brings me to another thing, and I believe you brought it up. Apparently, my position will be, I'll be challenged by somebody that wants to dissolve the city. That's just, I don't know that's true. But you said that when Nancy and I and Mr. O'Neill, remember Nancy, we ran and we were gonna dissolve the city, and not O'Neill. No, they said we were, remember? And Mr. Calhoun offered us his resignation because he bought in too. We didn't want to do that. But you said that Mr. Calhoun had put a presentation of what we would lose, and was you? No, yes?
It wasn't me, but I'm aware of what you're talking about, sir.
I've asked Jocelyn, if you guys could find that meeting. I heard it was an excellent presentation, pros and cons, and we should know that, so.
Wasn't Jim our city attorney at the time?
Yeah, I remember the presentation, right?
I have
Can
a
you put that
dissolution
down
box. I'll give it to
to,
the city attorney.
It'll be just before Nancy, I, and Steve O'Neill were elected, and
You look for a copy of it?
I wanted, all the council to have that, so people are gonna ask, well, what if we dissolve the city, what if we don't? And that puts forth the whole issue, as I understand it.
was a while
Why do you
ago.
think someone's gonna run against you to dissolve the city?
That was what I was told was gonna happen. And I can tell you who, I don't want to do it public, but, so that's the Better Business, Association, they really don't like having any restrictions. It would be a shame.
I have, Mr. Mayor, I have lived, as many of our residents have lived through one of those efforts. I put together quite a bit of information with regards to the pros and cons of the dissolution of this community. I still have some of that, along with my 14-year-old shirt. So I will be more than happy to give that to Mr. Matthew to include in whatever he wishes to disseminate. Even the information, though it may be dated, many of the single issues are still relevant with respect to why this community should remain a community, a growing, prosperous community. There's no reason for it to be dissolved, none whatsoever.
I agree. And, of course, me and Nancy were gonna dissolve it. That was the history of Port Richey politics. Let's see if I've gotten through all of mine. What was that, Nancy?
That's never been true.
Well, I know that. I was with you. Okay, anybody want?
Just something I probably should have interjected earlier, but one of the things that's bothering me, and I think we're going to have a look at it sooner than later, and that is a traffic study. And I brought this up to a number of people already, and I said, we've got a problem because DOT sealed us off. Our ingresses and egresses to the water side of this city is limited. We are already inundated at Ridge and 19. It's slammed, I don't care when you go there. We have growth coming, we have great growth coming, it's going to add more and more traffic. The only other access we have that comes in and can go out together is down by the head station. Now, there's a couple places that you can turn southbound, but nothing else. That's
But-
going to limit the amount of growth I think we can take. And we have to know what that is and if we have any way of doing anything about it. I remember when the road construction took place, year and a half ago, and Mayor Taylor at the time asked them not to do some things on the south side so that they were able to get out in case of a hurricane and that, and they flat out just said, too bad, we're doing what we want. So there's great growth available here. I think we really need to look and see what we're gonna do about traffic.
Yeah.
People won't come here if they're gonna run into a quagmire. I know I used to love to go down to Madeira Beach in that area. Now, I kind of hence when I think about taking people down there, even though I want them to see it. It's a neat place, but you gotta fight to get in the parking garage. There's no parking on the streets. It's all taken all the time. It's a hassle. It's a hassle to get in and out. We should address that, I think, before we start really getting into heavier growth than we've got already, but we've already seen a lot of people coming in, and it's going to add to the traffic, it's going to add to the congestion, and I don't want to put people off. I want to make them want to come in.
Well, I'm sorry.
Mr. Rowe, I think you're absolutely 100% correct. We have 4 major developments coming in, 58 new homes. We have a Whiskey Joe's and 2 other major developments coming in. I'll be more than happy to begin the process, contact state officials, DOT, whoever is involved, to find out exactly what course of action we can in order to begin a traffic study, whether it is our obligation, their obligation, and I'll come back to council with a report for you.
I think that actually will come up at that Metropolitan Planning Organization. I'm gonna put the wraparound on the agenda, and I think we need a study. They only made it worse. The south side has to go down, make a U-turn and go back, and we get rooted that way. It was better than when they started. So I don't know if it's changeable. If Eloise couldn't get it, probably we can't, but I'll try again.
I don't believe that, sir.
Maybe I don't either. But, I'll put that on the MPO agenda and see if we can touch base with DOT. But to expand on what Terry said, there's 110 units going in up Bay Boulevard. Is that 110? On the right-hand side as you go up, there's a sign.
Where is the 58 development?
Which one?
The 58.
Washington.
No,
Washington.
Bay Boulevard. If you go up Bay past the bridge, on the right about at Carolyn Street, they have a sign up, 110 waterfront, ready to be built. Is that permitted?
It's right
It's
across
been
from
up
Bay
there for a
Park.
long
I wanna think we voted on that, Nancy, at some point, but I don't remember.
I don't know. I don't
Isn't
think
it
they have a
underwater
picture.
most of the
Do you
time?
remember that?
Remember, but I don't remember exactly what
Yeah, I can't remember.
I don't either. I know
Speak
Al
up.
Foley was furious about it and all.
There's,
Jocelyn?
there's no formal plans in the works for a development on Bay
So they really
Boulevard.
couldn't do what their sign says anyway.
I think that's an old sign. Yeah.
Well, I hope so. But that it just comes into the study. You guys live on Bay. We put another 200 cars up and down Bay. And then the one, Jim, on by Walmart, has that been abandoned?
Avila?
Avila Bay?
Yeah, it's dead.
Yeah, I think
It's been
it has.
abandoned forever.
Could I say one thing?
Please, please, I'm
The,
using this.
on the traffic study issue, I think I put this in my memo to Mr. Lupo. It wasn't our top priority, but we have 4 or 5 major developments coming in. We're gonna have substantial impact fees coming in. The law requires that impact fees can't be charged any more than what your need is, and the formulas must be a function of your need, okay? And we haven't, that should be done every year. It's actually a law. And we haven't done it in 7 or 8 years. Now, to do that, I'm very concerned, because we've been sued on this with our building fees once before, but every year you're supposed to look at these things and make sure that what you're charging is appropriate. It's never gonna be perfect, because we'll be charging a certain amount now, which is probably high, and next year we may have to lower some of these because we're gonna make a lot of money this year. It's very serious money. As long as we look back and stay on top of it, we'll be fine. The first place is the transportation impact fees. We're gonna make a lot of money on those this year. However, it's based on a study of 10 years ago. So we need to do one anyway, so I'm kinda glad you brought it up, Mr. Rowe, because we could do that as part of it. And we can use impact fees to do it. We have more than substantial fees coming in for that, so I'll follow up with Mr. Lupo on that, try to make all of that happen at once. We'll probably wait till we get the monies,
Right.
mostly because we have Mr. Washington coming in, and we gotta give him a month or two to get his feet wet before we go down that road, but we're gonna need to do it, so we'll probably be doing it anyway.
Yeah, maybe citywide.
Oh, we would be doing it
Yeah.
citywide. Yeah. And as part of that study, we could be specific about issues such as that, if that's what council wants to do, but it was gonna be our recommendation to do an impact fee review.
Okay,
If that helps.
you kept my motor going here. I'm sorry. I talked to the podcast gentleman about Guild Dogs, about Guild Dogs and the fact that, you know, we had a law, we didn't make him follow it. And his response was that the attorneys thought that that was actionable because since we didn't follow, well, I think we talked and I got your response, I liked it. But because we didn't follow the law, then he could sue us for changing back to following the law.
You're not looking for me to comment on that, are you?
Well, your last comment was if there was a mass murderer, could he sue us and allow him to go on?
I couldn't give a serious answer to that. I don't think
Okay,
that's in the
thank you.
city's best interest to
I didn't
comment on
think it
things
was
like
too
that.
serious sounding. That's all I have. Anyone else?
Motion to
I
adjourn.
had that on the table an hour ago, but anyways.
Well, just kind of like to discuss the city sometime. Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Bang.